Any vehicle that enters one side of the portal will instantly exit from the other side at the same speed.
Oh good, they fixed it. I was complaining a bit in Portal 1 and Portal 2. They said momentum was conserved, but it technically wasn't. It's speed relative to the portal entrance that's conserved. Momentum can change depending on which way the portals are flipped.
Your rapid progress has demonstrated that even the simplest employees can doodle a bridge, while our expert drivers handle the complex physics of navigating through portals.
Yes, thank you for only exposing the experts to the danger of acid. Hello everyone and welcome back to Astrophysicist Plays. I'm here again with Portal, and this time I am playing one of the spin-off games called Bridge Constructor Portal. This isn't a fan game, it's an officially licensed game made by the creators of Bridge Constructor, and you might be surprised to learn that they're incorporating portals into it. So, this is my first time playing it, so let's get right into the game and see how it goes. So, you want to be reassigned as Chief Custodian for the Aperture Science Vehicular Hurdling Initiative. Ooh, vehicular hurdling. Sounds like a good Scottish pastime. You know, there actually is a Scottish sport that is literally throwing trees. It's called the caber toss. It is amazing. I know you don't throw the trees the easy way. You throw them end over end. The Scots do not take things in half measures. Yeah, so anyways, on to the question. Yes, for science. That's the spirit. We admire your principles, so long as they're ours. Okay. I'm required by protocol to conduct an interview with you. It will contain one question. Are you ready? Hold on, was the question going to be? Yes. Well, what I want to reply is are you ready the question? But actually, maybe it is. I'm just going to say yes, I'm ready. Suit yourself. Now, tell me, what would you like to do if life gives you lemons? Oh, I know this. I played Portal 2. You make the life take the lemons back. Any Johnson? You said this would only be one question. Yeah. I'm starting to think Aperture isn't the most truthful employer. Any Johnsons in your family tree? That's the kind of chief custodian attitude we need. Now get to your desk and make us proud. Ooh, nice shiny helmet. Yay! Other employees don't even get to be interviewed. Other applicants, that is. Ooh. And we take over a desk right where the interviewer was. Don't get too cozy reading construction magazines. It's time to get started. Enrichment Center regulations require that all trainees pass a battery of custodial proficiency tests. Don't worry, we'll be securely withholding your paychecks during this probationary period. All completely legal, I'm sure. This series of test chambers will test your construction and deduction skills. Are you ready to earn your golden chief custodian hat? Aw. Do I have to earn the golden hat? I thought that came as a signing bonus. If I gotta. Okay, number 1, my first bridge. So, first of all, as I'm playing this, apologies to people if you hear noise from my mouse clicking and my keyboard. I've got a particularly noisy mouse and keyboard. But this does not seem like the type of game that would be controller-friendly.
Hello, and welcome back to the Aperture Science Computer-Aided Enrichment Center.
Oh, it is voice-acted. Thank you. That's nice.
According to internal provisions, all applicants must complete this test series for testing series tests. Before we start, however, please note that serious injuries may occur. The Enrichment Center is proud to announce that your family will be notified in the event of a work fatality with no additional garnishment to your wages.
So you're not going to garnish my wages to compensate for telling my family. Yeah, okay, well, you do
Your
you.
first task is to build a bridge so that a test vehicle can reach the test chamber exit.
Yeah, okay.
First, we need to remove the useless assembly left by your predecessor, and we don't mean their family.
Okay. Alright, so double click to remove. Okay, what if I click, does this remove them all?
Excellent.
Yes, there we go.
Your ability to destroy without question is quite impressive.
Oh boy, I hope those components were sentient.
We will supplant a new construction using Aperture Science convertible scaffold planks.
Okay. So, materials can be selected with up or down. Do you think I'm using a controller? Or maybe it's just alternative. Okay, click that. Follow the guiding lines to build a scaffold for the bridge. Left click on a construction point to start building. Move to desired end location and click to place a component. Right click cancels the build operation. So, I could build one. Can I? Oh, I can just start anywhere, so. And then double click to remove. So, yeah, I'm just playing around here. Interestingly, it won't let me... So, I wonder why I couldn't end at that bottom point. Okay, now I can. That's interesting. Maybe it was too long. Yeah, there's a length limit. That's it. Okay. Oh, so you see the tiny blue dots show the length limit and all the possible endpoints that are within it. So it kind of recommends I do a triangle, but if I wanted, could I do it straight up? Yeah, it lets me. Let's see what happens if I disobey. Does it allow me, or... Okay. Oh, no, I've got to follow the tutorial here.
The bridge still requires a roadway for the test vehicle to drive on. Fortunately, each Aperture Science convertible scaffold plank can be converted into a roadway and vice versa at any time.
Yeah, okay. Turn the upper horizontal components into a roadway. Left-click on a component to convert it from scaffold to roadway. Okay.
Very good. Let a test vehicle run over your bridge to test it.
There's both test and drive here, but it wants us to click drive for the test. Maybe we'll figure out what test does later. There we go. Oh, perfect. Like, you didn't even try more than one. You wastefully spent $10,100. Okay, can I call it a day or next level? Oh, now, whoa, we've got more options. So, test. What does test do? Let's try convoy, see what that does. Maybe this is how I get 6. So maybe there are multiple layers to completion. One is getting 1 to complete, another is getting a full convoy to complete. I'll probably find out. Level 2.
Welcome to Test Chamber 2. To overcome obstacles, you will often need to construct your bridge uphill or downhill.
Okay.
This roadway leads uphill, but is not suitable for vehicles. However, instead of destroying these components, we will modify their location.
Okay, so I don't need to destroy to replace. Okay, you can just click and drag. There we go. Well, that miss. Huh, okay. Okay, you've got to hold for a moment, otherwise you'll move the camera.
Good. Now build the supports underneath.
But what if I don't want to? Like, nah. I guess I got it.
Excellent. The first bridge is ready. Now we will construct a vehicle ramp for hurdling to the exit.
Ooh, hurdling. Sounds fun. Okay. Yeah, you don't get to do this in the regular Bridge Constructor. No hurdling allowed there. Okay. Looks good. Let's have a go. Oh, hold up. Forgot to convert this into roadways. There we go. We are sorry to interrupt for an unimportant message. This is a menu. Okay. Hello, menu. You're right, that was unimportant. Okay. Still not sure what test does. Okay, drive. Okay, gravity seems weaker than I was expecting. Well, maybe we're just doing a time dilation or something. Okay, convoy time. This should go without issue. Yeah, things definitely seem pretty floaty. Okay, I'll just have to get used to that. Yeah, it must be fun going to work in a pneumatic tube. And getting to jump off ramps. The risk of acid I could take or leave, though. Number 3, quantum tunnel. Okay.
Please observe this test chamber layout, and note that it is impossible for the vehicle to reach its destination.
Yeah, impossible for you, maybe.
For this task, the test chamber will be enhanced with an aperture science quantum tunnel, or more commonly called, a portal.
I have an alternate proposal. How about we take advantage of this peculiar quirk of physics known as the third dimension? Oh, come on. Yeah. Aw. Okay,
the
portal.
will open in 3, 2, 1. Any vehicle that enters one side of the portal will instantly exit from the other side at the same speed.
Oh, good, they fixed it. I was complaining a bit in Portal 1 and Portal 2. They said momentum was conserved, but it technically wasn't. It's speed relative to the portal entrance that's conserved. Momentum can change depending on which way the portals are flipped.
Your rapid progress has demonstrated that even the simplest employees can doodle a bridge, while our expert drivers handle the complex physics of navigating through portals.
Yes, thank you for only exposing the experts to the danger of acid. Okay, first build a roadway for the bridge by building the components along the lines and then converting them to roadways. Okay, so... I keep wanting to click and drag to build it. Okay. So... It feels like this is going to dip a bit.
Very good. Testing procedure requires that this test will not allow supporting the bridge from below. However, we can use the construction attachment points above to suspend the bridge with Aperture Science multi-purpose super cables.
Ooh, super cables.
Multi-purpose super cables consist of tightly rolled shower curtains and can be stretched over long distances.
Oh, so you finally figured out a way to make a good shower curtain. I'm proud of you, Aperture. Okay, so over here we switch material.
Perfect. Now send the vehicle through the portal. Don't worry, these intra-dimensional gates have been proven completely safe for custodial staff.
Safe for custodial staff. Yeah, but, we've still got the problem up here on top. Well, okay, who's ready to sacrifice their life for science? Yep. Oh, you look eager. Okay, good.
Please note, to protect valuable testing apparatus, Vehicle drivers are not permitted to make contact with the deadly fluid on the chamber floor.
Yeah, we gotta protect the vehicles. Okay.
Your employee photo will be provided in the vehicle driver's cause of death form in the event of your failure.
Oh, I hope it shows the grin I have right now. Okay, so now we've got to fix that. Okay, so no. Okay, so they're not really giving it. Okay, so now they're taking the training wheels off a bit. And let's see, I think probably, yeah, that looks like the best design. Although, we want to save on materials a bit, and I think it should work like this. Let's give it a go, see what happens. Okay. Ready? And drive. Ooh, no. Stop, that was interesting. Let me... Okay. Alright, let me try the test button. Okay, so you can let the physics happen on the materials straight away by clicking the test button. Alright, so let's see. Now, I suspect the left one's gonna fall. Yeah. Alright, so things need to be pretty well supported here, or they're gonna fall. And probably we might not need a second cable. Let's see how that goes. There we go. Yeah. It would be nice if I could do the convoy straight away. Maybe in later levels I'll be able to. Ooh. Oh. So that was interesting. The cable couldn't quite keep up in the end and eventually snapped. But, you know, that doesn't matter as long as we got all the vehicles through. Alright, cool. Okay, 4 colorings.
Multiple pairs of portals can exist at the same time.
So how do we know which connects to which?
One of them is leading to a deadly laser field. It appears red to discourage casual contact.
Yeah, the lasers, I presume, yeah.
I am registering an increased heart rate and galvanic skin response, obviously due to the fact that you are not able to tell which portal will lead the vehicles into the lethal deadlock.
Actually, I'm just thinking about the fact that the lasers appear red means they're actually pretty inefficient. Lasers should really be invisible because the only reason we might see a laser is that it has to bounce off of something. So you've constructed a laser that bounces off all of the light between its source and the target, which means you're wasting a lot of energy there.
To compensate for your lack of clairvoyant abilities, we will alter the portal's spectral radiance.
Yeah, okay. Ooh,
From now on,
rainbow portals.
Interlinked portals will always have matching colors.
Okay, so now, So now instead of a blue connecting to an orange, it's like blue to blue, yellow to yellow. Okay, cool. Alright, so we know purple is the deadly one. Okay, yeah, training wheels fully off this time. Alright, so let's see here. So red is the last one. We can't build anything over there. We'll have to build something going into it here. Okay, so looking at what we've got here, just working backwards from the solution, we'll want to hop out of red, which means we'll want to build up some energy. We'll probably want to come out of blue here and into red. So, let's start building something towards red. And down here we can build a ramp towards blue. And let's go all the way up first, so... Oh, okay, we're gonna have to go a bit more straight to limit the number of... There we go. Okay, and... yeah. Yep. Oh, wish there wasn't... Maybe there's an undo command somewhere, but that's not too hard to rebuild it. We'll make all of those into roads. And... switch to support cables now. We'll start out using minimal materials. And if necessary, add on. So, okay, if things work well, we'll go into blue, build up some speed, and then hopefully come popping up. So, do a quick test. Okay, nothing's failing. Let's drive. Perfect. And convoy time. Okay, so we're getting multiple on the bridge at the same time. Yeah, they're close enough together we get multiple at the same time, so we might hit structural limits at some point, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, or cross the bridge, go into a portal, and come out of a portal when we come to it. Okay, arches.
This test chamber only has construction attachment points at the start and end of the roadway.
Okay.
In such cases, the bridges must be self-supporting, with arch scaffolds placed in a triangular formation.
Interesting.
We provided 2 bridges as structural reference. It should be a simple matter of copying this design to bridge the remaining gaps.
Okay, so now we're getting into some interesting physics here. So, up to this point, we've had 2 different ways of supporting bridges. One is supporting from below. We would call this compression. And the other is hanging from above, which we would call tension. But now we are working with self-supporting scaffolds. So, I'm just going to think through a bit of what the physics is going on there. So if I turn into test, yeah, okay, that helps illustrate it if you see how it moves. So the scaffolds presumably are able to take a compression or a tension force, whereas the wires can probably only take a tension force. Like you can pull apart a rope and it'll keep you from pulling apart too much, but if you press in on it, it's just going to collapse. A scaffold, on the other hand, can probably take either compression or tension. So we'll probably get into later like what the cost of each, but normally you would use ropes as they would be cheaper for a tension force than some scaffold or something. So right now, I just want to think through mentally what force each of these is under. So you can see here that when I test, the top seems to collapse together. So I think these top 3 are going to be under a tension force. Or sorry, those are under compression force. And then from here, yeah, it's going to have to hold the top part up. So you'd think at first, so I think at first glance it should be compression along each of those. And then what about at the bottom? So let's just draw up a quick little force diagram. All right, so let's take one of these road components and the stuff around it and just go through the forces acting on it to come to an understanding of why this scaffold works. So let's start off with the one on the left, and let's draw a free body diagram for it, which is basically showing what every force acting on it is. So first of all, we've got a force going down for gravity. That'll be mg. Secondly, we are going to have some unknown force here. That'll be a normal force. Some unknown force here. You call it a normal force when it's basically something testing or something touching it, pressing on it, also going to be a normal force, and here, going to be a normal force. Now, typically, a normal force is always going to be perpendicular to the point of contact, but here, the attachment, you can think of this as like an axle, which means we're kind of blinded to the actual point of contact. So, we've got a lot of unknowns here, so we can't add up the forces going into it, but we do know that what the end result is. The end result has to be, I'll just use the space here as empty, so once you add up those forces, and actually let me erase that because it's not directly acting on the one we see. Once you add up those forces, which we'll call N1, mg, and N2, we'll get the equation N1, which is a vector, plus N2, also a vector, plus m times the gravity vector. So in the end, that's going to stay still. So the final resulting force is going to be 0. Yeah, since in the end it's not accelerating, so the sum of forces equals the mass of this times its acceleration. If you wanted to be explicit that this is mass times acceleration here, you could say, you could do m times 0. But it's the same. Anything times 0 is 0. Okay, so what you would do in solving this next is you would want to split this up into the 2 dimensions. That is the x dimension and the y dimension. So I'll use the space up here. So first, n1x plus n2x. And then here, gravity is only going down, so it doesn't have any x component. So I'm just going to leave it out of that equation. And the sum of those is equal to 0. And then in y, we have n1y plus n2y plus mg. And actually, in this case, this should be minus mg, since gravity is negative in x. Minus mg equals 0. Okay, so at this point, even if we knew the mass of the bridge, we don't have enough information to solve this problem. So let's say that the mass there is known, but even then we would still have 4 unknowns. So with 2 equations and 4 unknowns, we can't really sort things out, but we can still get some insight. So the first bit of insight we can get from arranging the top equation is that we can sort this around, take one of these terms, move it over to the other side, and add a minus sign, and that'll give us the equation. Just 1 second here while I erase. So then we get n1x equals minus n2x. So whatever the normal force is between these two, they're going to be equal and opposite. So we'll have one normal force here that's pressing maybe either to the right or to the left. We aren't entirely clear yet. One here that's going to press in the opposite direction. And then we can actually go beyond that to the next. Actually, yeah, I just realized you can't see the mouse right now, so I am just going to use, I'm going to switch to, light black. So one here on the left, that's going to go maybe to the right, maybe to the left. One on the right that's going to be the opposite of that, maybe to the left, maybe to the right. And now, the other thing we can take as insight from this is by Newton's third law, every force has an equal and opposite force on the other thing involved. So think of it this way. Let's imagine you own a cat. It's a very happy cat. You pat the cat. The cat also pushes itself up into your hand. So if you got one force down, you're patting the cat, and the cat presses up, pushing up against your hand. The two forces balance out, and you have a very happy cat. So when we have one force here, let's say we were to find that it's going to the left on acting on this plank, that would cause a counter force on this road going to the right. Now, we don't know for sure that it's going to the left yet, but if that were the case, that's what would be happening. Okay, so let me erase that. All right, so that gives us a bit of insight there. Now, for going up, we can rearrange this equation here. Just say n1 plus m2 equals mg. Just moving the mg around to the other side. So in that case, what we have learned is the normal force from these two components is going to be enough to hold up gravity. So whatever vertical component we have there is going to be enough to go up. So that should be like... Okay. One more. There we go. That's black. So we'll have some up components there, which will be enough to counteract gravity. The two of those combined will equal this. Now, this part we have more intuition on the direction of, is the road is definitely going to be pulling down. So this one is going to be up. And the question is how much of it is going to be on this one. And we don't know exactly how these two balance out. You might think intuitively you'd want to split it in half, but I think that's actually almost certainly not going to be the case. And the reason for that is we have multiple of these road segments, and each of them has to obey Newton's third law. So let's say we did have a case where they were split up in half. Then by Newton's third law, we already know what the force over here is. It's going to be down like that. And then if we need to balance out gravity on this one, it'll need to be going up at 3 times. And so this would be a very strange arrangement of forces here in order to balance out gravity. And then when we get to this one, it would be going down 3 times here and up 5 times here. And okay, we are just going absolutely crazy with the forces. And then this one finally has to balance it out, and so it'd be going down 3 times here, and this makes no sense. Why would it have this strange setup? Okay, so going through the whole setup, I think we can say that it isn't a simple half and half split. So I'm going to erase this, and let's think about it. Let's start out at the center. So one intuition we can use is that this whole thing is symmetrical. We can draw a line of symmetry down the center here. This means that it would be very strange if the forces were not symmetrical in the end. So we can assume that, for instance, if we had the force on this one going up, which would mean the counterforce on that one going down. And actually, I'll just have to scratch back to the last one. I think I was forgetting about the third law for a bit, but we'd still get weird things. So let's just go ahead, think in terms of symmetry. So if you have a force on this one going up and that one going down, then you would see the same thing over here, because there's no reason things should be different on either side. So let's first ask what should be going on at this junction at the center. So if the force on the right is going up at all, the force on the left would be going down, but that would be asymmetrical. So what makes the most sense there is that this force, at least up or down, should be 0. So we'll number the planks on the right and left edges. So N2 right, and this is in the y direction, should equal 0, and that is going to equal the opposite of normal 3 left, again in the y. So that is the normal acting on plank number 2 at the right side of plank number 2 in the y dimension is going to be 0. So all of which is to say that right here we've got no upward or downward force acting at this junction, because anything otherwise would be breaking symmetry. Okay, and then the same here. So the next step, in order to balance things out, we need the force up on number 2 at the left side, which is the only other place touching it, should be enough on its own to hold things up due to gravity. So we can then say that normal to left in the y equals mass times gravity. And then this is going to be equal to negative normal 1 right in the y. Okay, so we know that. So I'm just going to move over here where it's a bit easier to read. So normal 1 right in the y is equal to minus mg. But the normals on both sides of these in the y need to add up to mg. So completing the equation, we get normal 1 left in the y equals 2 mg. So that means we're going to be having double the force acting up. Now, at this point, we're not even considering the kind of triangular structure above the bridge. We're just looking at how the bridge itself is held up. So yeah, the equation we've sketched out are just how things are held together. So if we were to ignore all of this, then that's what we get. And I think that still ends up being true. So what this is doing is it's not actually contributing to holding the bridge up. So it must be there for some other purpose. So I want to go back to the game for a second, see if it'll let us delete that, and we can watch what happens to get a bit more insight. Okay, so let's see. If we do test, yeah, we see it compressing there, and then... So what happens if we just test now? Okay, we drop a lot lower. So it is serving a purpose, and the purpose seems to be it is keeping it from collapsing as much. So let's try, what if we have it without the top pieces? Yeah, I think that one's a bit off. Okay, what if we have just the triangles? Okay, yeah, just the triangles is no good. because you can kind of see what happens. Now I'm getting it. Okay, I think I'm coming to understand. So, the top part is actually the most important part, as it provides a strong compressive force on the top. So if I do just one here, this piece at the top is being pressed in by the tips of these two triangles. So if we didn't have the piece at the top, what these two would try to do would be to turn together. So just watch again, and let's actually watch at the middle, that the tips of the two triangles at the center approach together. Actually, you don't see it at the center, but at the sides, you see it first. The tips try to push together. And then if we put in a bar connecting the ones at the side right now, those can't be pushed together, so they stay apart. And then we put it in the center as well, and it compresses those two. Okay. So now I'm starting to understand how this works. That basically the purpose of this, so the triangles, I think, are just to hold these top pieces up. And the top pieces are doing the hard work here, that they are taking a large compression force to keep these two bars at the bottom from turning to face each other more, which is what would naturally happen if gravity is allowed to act on the bridge and stretch it out. It'll go into an arc, which will turn these together, and we want to stop that, so we put triangles up where basically the angular difference gets amplified into a greater distance difference, and we put in a scaffold there to stop that from happening. And then these triangles hold those up in place. So let's test again. And yeah, if you watch carefully while this is happening, you can see some of these glowing red. And I think they glow red when they are under the most strain. So as you watch, the one at the center seems to glow the most red. That seems to be the one under the most strain. And the ones at the left and right side glow red too. So just for a test, what happens if those don't exist? This seems to be a good way to figure out what purpose they're serving. Okay, yeah. So you can see what happens if they don't exist is this top part falls and gets closer to the side. So those ones at the left are under a strong compression force as well. So now the follow-up question, is everything here under a compression force? No. Okay. So remember, so we'll do a test. What happens? So that stays basically static. It does flex a little bit. But if we remove this scaffolding, those 2 points actually get farther out, which tells us that this scaffold is actually under tension. Now, is that the case for each of these? No, it isn't. So, this one is under compression. What about that one? That one's under tension. What about that one? Tension again. And then this one should be compression by symmetry. Okay. So you kind of see when I had the whiteboard out, I was showing that you get interesting play between these. So this is kind of interesting that we have, of all of these bars, we only have 2 that are actually in compression. So it's only, yeah, this one and this one are the only 2 that are serving a compression purpose, and everything else is, well, sorry, of the interior ones, and all the other interior ones are serving a tension. So you can see at the center, it doesn't pull apart straight away. So those might not be doing a first order tension, but after things start to move, they are. So yeah, so notice for these that at first those 2 points don't split apart much. It takes a moment before it gets going. Now here, yeah, they almost immediately start going together. So it could be that these, at least to first order, aren't under compression or tension, but once things get moving, then they start to pull apart and they're under tension. So the ones in the center are under tension or nothing. The next ones out are under compression. Then the next 2 out are under tension. And then these ones out are under compression. So I wonder if this pattern would continue as we build it up. Do we continue to get this alternation between compression and tension as we build this up? Now, do we have a longer bridge we can build? No, I think this is the biggest we can build on this level, so we can't really test that. But what this is telling me is, so those are the one. Okay, yeah, that was compression. So if we take out those 2 and replace them with wires, yes, that still works. Now, from building material components, I suspect the wires are actually a bit cheaper. So can we also do that in the center and replace those with wires? Yes, we can. Okay, cool. So I don't know yet if these are actually cheaper, but yeah, I would assume so. Or at least they can take tension better than the scaffolds can. So right now, let's go back. I've spent a lot looking at this puzzle, but all of this could be fruitful in this optimization here and figuring out that we can use wires at certain places in these, which might help save us on building materials. So right now, I am going to start out just with the scaffolding, and after we've solved the puzzle, we'll come back, see if we can put in wires instead, and see if that saves us money. Okay? Alright, so now let's go to solving the puzzle. So it looks right now like it's pretty straightforward for most part. So here, yeah, we've got a 3-piece. Okay, now over here, I think probably a straight line is going to be best. Oh, okay, so it helpfully shows guiding lines for where it could connect from that endpoint. So I just have to go to the point that allows me to connect there. Okay. So that looks like the most straightforward way of solving this. Let's see if that works. There we go. Okay, now let's see if our optimization of using the wires instead actually helps us out. So, okay, so the cost initially was $7,500, and let's just try some replacements. So the ones we can replace with wires are these. We'll start out just that one, see if it makes a difference. See, are the wires cheaper? Ah, yes, they are cheaper. Now, there are some other considerations as well, like how heavy are the wires and at what force do the wires snap. But for now, let's go back, look at the other ones and think, where can we replace them with wire? So this is the only 4-piece bridge. The others are 3 pieces. So let's just do some quick experimentation. Okay, that one's under tension, or under compression. Can't replace that. What about this one? Okay, that one's under tension. So for those 2, we can put in wires. And probably the same over here, but the fact that it's at an angle makes things a bit iffier. We'll give it a go anyway, see how things turn out. Okay. Okay, so I think that's those are the only ones we can replace. So the pattern seems to be that the outermost ones are always going to be under compression. Then it alternates going inwards. At the center, it's to first order, nothing but second order compression. Or, well, actually, yeah, it does have to even out at some point where it's nothing to first order, because we can't keep alternating. But I guess from the outside working in, it alternates compression, tension, etc. That seems to be the pattern here. So let's try that. That's probably the cheapest we can make this. Okay, good. Yep, saved a bunch. Alright, let's see if the whole convoy can make it now. Ah, brilliant. Okay. Now, before going on, I just want to go back to this and make sure I understand why each of these is under compression versus tension. It's kind of a lot to put together all told, so we might have to just do it piecewise. So the outer parts, I understand. The gravity is going to be acting on the top pieces, pulling them down. So the overall sum of forces across all of these is going to have to be a compression force. And on the outermost ones, you can think that they have to kind of hold this whole thing up as kind of like an arc. So it makes sense that those would be under a compression force. Hold on. What if we make this more like an arc? Can we do a shallower arc? And will we get an even better bridge if we do? Let's give it a go. So something like that. Yeah, that one's a bit misaligned. Okay. So, like that. Yeah, because this kind of reminds me of bridges I've seen in real life, and I think this way might be even better as the change in force is more gradual between these, which means we're probably wasting less force holding things up at sharp angles. So it's still holding together. Let's see. I'm curious if we'll save any money in the end, because we're losing... Yes, we are. Okay, we're using slightly less materials. Okay. So we could be optimizing a fair bit here, it seems, and possibly even making these bridges stronger. So I bet we can get the price down a fair bit by going into these arch shapes. Now, it's probably going to be for the best, so if you think about how you've seen bridges, an arch seems to be more common than having it be at straight diagonals here, which we could do. We could try a straight diagonal between the two. Let's see what happens there. Okay, yeah, we're not under tension at the sides if we do that. That's actually interesting. Okay. Wait, why are these two not... Are these... Yeah. Looks like the two sides aren't quite symmetrical, but... So... Okay, I think that's about midway. And if we just test it... Yeah, to first order, there's no force in. But then over on the right side, it falls in. There's a bit of a compressive force. And on the left side, a tension force. On the left side, not really anything. So, it's not quite symmetrical. Maybe there's a slight difference in the lengths of these. But, yeah, the advantage to having it out a bit is that we've got a bit of a... We cause a bit of a tension force, which we can take care of with a wire. So let's just have one more pass at this puzzle, see how much we can optimize by going to arches instead of kind of the squared ones. Oop, forgot wire there. And then over here we'll do... And yeah, when it's at an angle, it's hard to estimate by eye which way. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're still getting everything across. We're not able to test any more weight, but we are saving a little bit in material cost. So, the material is probably kept in like a high score or something. One of the goals to do the game as well as possible. Okay, let's go for the convoy, see how that works. It's interesting to watch the arms of these to see, yeah, you can see where the forces are, like right here. There's a lot on either edge. On the scaffolding on the top part seems to be taking the most force. Oh, we got just below 60,000. And let's do one with just a one car, in case we actually have to show it for that as well, for that score to count. Ah, brilliant. Okay, so I just want to, like, if we go back to the front screen, how does it show the high scores? Oh, does it show high scores? Yeah. Okay, it's not showing high scores yet, at least. So. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, subscribe, and click the bell to be sure you get notifications of new uploads. See you again soon.